Some estimates show that up to 40% of businesses just never reopen after a major disaster. That is a terrifying number, right? But it absolutely does not have to be a reality. Today, we are going to build the disaster-proof blueprint for your business. Okay, let's dive in. So just imagine it for a second. A fire, a flood, maybe a crippling cyber attack. Honestly, the cause doesn't even matter. The result is exactly the same. Your business just grinds to a total halt. So what's your next move? The answer to that one question is what determines whether you survive or you just become another one of those statistics. In a real crisis, you don't have time to sit around and think. You need a plan ready to go. And that's where a business continuity plan, or a BCP, comes in. Think of it as your step-by-step playbook for survival. It can literally mean the difference between a minor hiccup and a full-blown catastrophe. Okay, so you've decided to create a BCP. Fantastic. But where do you even start? Well, the very first step is to figure out what's most important. Just like a doctor in an ER, you have to triage your business. Identify those critical functions that absolutely positively keep it alive. And this is where the business impact analysis, or BIA, comes into play. Think of it as a kind of financial checkup for your entire business. It's a really structured way to identify your most vital operations and then calculate the real hard dollar cost of a potential shutdown. And believe me, this information is absolutely crucial for making smart decisions later on. So now that you know what's critical, you need to figure out how fast you have to recover. Because in a disaster, every single second counts. So let's look at the key timers that are going to help you set your recovery goals. All right, the first one is your maximum tolerable downtime, or MTD. This is basically the doomsday clock for your business. It is the absolute drop-dead maximum amount of time you can be offline before you are just out of business for good. It's your point of no return. Now, to beat that doomsday clock, you need a goal, and that's your recovery time objective, or RTO. It's the target time you set for yourself to get those critical systems back up and running after a disaster hits. It's your mission. And right here, this is the golden rule of recovery. It is the most important relationship in this entire plan. Your RTO must be less than your MTD. To put it simply, your plan to get back on your feet has to be faster than your doomsday clock. It's a simple rule, but literally everything else builds on it. Okay, the last key metric is the recovery point objective, or RPO. Now, this one isn't about downtime, it's all about data loss. It asks a really tough question. What's the maximum amount of data you can truly afford to lose forever? So, for an e-commerce company, an RPO of 24 hours means you could lose an entire day's worth of transactions, customer emails, inventory changes, everything. A lower RPO, well, that means more frequent backups, and that directly impacts the cost and the kind of recovery solution you're going to need. Okay, so we've covered the what to save with our BIA and the when to save it with our recovery objectives. Now let's talk about the where. If your primary location is gone, you've got to have a backup. So let's look at your options for a recovery site. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Where do your people physically go when the office is just gone? And let me tell you, hoping the local coffee shop has good Wi-Fi is not a strategy. You need a dedicated recovery site. Think of your recovery site options like a spare tire. A hot site? That's like having a brand new, identical tire in your trunk, totally ready to go. You can switch over almost instantly, but that level of readiness, it is very expensive. A warm site, on the other hand, is kind of like having a spare tire with a slow leak. It's cheaper, but it's going to take some time, days maybe, to get it ready. And a cold site, well, that's like having a flat with no spare at all. It's the cheapest option for sure, but it will take a lot of time and effort to get back on the road. The right choice for you really depends entirely on your RTO and your budget. So what do you get when you put all of this together? The BIA, your recovery objectives, your choice of site, what does it all make? You get a resilience blueprint. It's a step-by-step guide to surviving pretty much any disaster. And it's not just some document you file away. It is your business's ultimate insurance policy. And that really is the key. Business continuity planning isn't about having a crystal ball to see the future. It's about building a business that's strong enough, flexible enough, and prepared enough to withstand whatever comes. It's about building a truly resilient organization that can just weather any storm and keep right on going. This framework, this is the fundamental difference between a business that makes it and a business that doesn't. It's the difference between being a statistic and being a success story. So I have to ask you, are you ready? How resilient is your plan?